In case you haven't noticed, there's a culture war going on, and the spoils are the very minds of people we are trying to save. The war on the West is no longer about men or women. It's about the ideological subversion of Western minds by foreign actors cloaked in a public relations-friendly outfit called feminism. Join the fight against the destabilization of our very civilization by reading Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism. Learn some inconvenient truths by clicking on the link in the description, because every time you do, a pansexual non-binary socialist cries!
Oh, what's going on, you bunch of oxymorons? Terrence Popp here, Redonkulas.com. Bad Popp showed up today because I got some real bad news for all you lefty idiots out there. Are we ready on the right? Ready on the left? Ready in the middle? All right. Go ahead and ban me. I don't give a shit, damn, or a fuck, and I made a whole episode about that. Links in the description. Now listen, I've been run over, blown up, shot at, stabbed, beat down, kicked by man and animal alike, jumped out of airplanes, and was set on fire. Did you really think I'd care what YouTube does? Are you offended yet? You want to grab your puppy and go blow some bubbles in your safe space?
You know, somehow when I pictured AOC blowing bubbles, I imagined it happening in a dark closet with a birthday clown.
But this picture illustrates the entire point of this episode. If you're a Democrat, or a socialcrat as I like to say, no lives matter, just the narrative does. And this leads to an epic circle jerk of logic that's killing my back as I talk about it. And you know what that means? It's time for me to take my medicine. You know, the full menagerie, or two. And I brought in some real moonshine. Not that corporate boiled down bullshit.
Hey, fuck you, man.
Hey man, I'm getting you fucked up today, and that goes double for you. Drink up. Yeah. Before we get started, I just want to say this is not gonna be some huge history lesson. If you want that, go watch the History Channel. I already made an episode like that and it got me banned on YouTube. Links are in the description. Nope, today we're just gonna roll the clock back a couple of months. You know, after a unspecified illness from a point of unknown origin happened to make its way over here, that you may or may not need an extremely accurate test kit for, I just gotta say, the following dude from Tanzania has all my respect. He looked at the situation and called it for exactly what it is.
This is bullshit!
I know we're paraphrasing here, but it doesn't make it any less true, I'm just saying. These tests are so accurate, even fruit juice will test positive for this unspecified illness of unknown origin. Holy shit, that's a lot of syllables. We need to turn that into an acronym. But I'd probably sound mentally stunted, or at best, like I had a dick in my mouth. That's neither here nor there. Supposedly, it's everywhere. Kind of like my ex-wife. Back in March, this whole country got shut down faster than a broke dude at a strip club. We were told that just 15 days would flatten that curve. Well, we're going on 4 months here in Michigan. How's that working out for you? Shitler. And if you have to go out and shop, you can do it at one of the multi-billion-dollar establishments that were all allowed to remain open, while the small businesses, well, they had to close forever.
Forever.
Hell, I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm gonna take a drink while you think about that. But it's all good as long as you do your social distancing and stay 6 feet apart. Because that makes all the sense in the world. If you're a fucking idiot, Space Ghost.
So this next piece of stunning and brave journalism goes out to all the Corona Karens.
Most air conditioning systems don't protect against the unspecified illness of unknown origin. In some cases, they may actually facilitate the spread.
So you expect me to believe that this virus can get passed through an industrial-grade filter, an evaporator, blower, and through ductwork with more roadblocks than a Mad Max movie, but a mask will save me?
And on top of all of that bullshit, we were sent mail-in ballots.
Because that's the only safe way to vote now, thanks to cold beer of Mexican origin.
We're expected to believe that it's safe to stand in line for, toilet paper, as long as you're in a multinational Democrat donor establishment. But it's not safe to stand in line to vote. Because mail-in ballots don't make it easier to commit voter fraud or anything. That's a conspiracy theory, Wayne. It's not like multiple people have been arrested for just that in the past couple months. Links in the description.
In the midst of a culture war that's bringing out the ridiculous in everyone, it's never been more important to protect your data. Sandman, the patron saint of MGTOW dreams, wants you to know the best way to do that is with the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your data from the evil prigs in Silicon Valley. You only see ads if you want to, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Download Brave by clicking on the link in the description.
So, people who realize that the news coming from 6 corporations might not be all that trustworthy. They started to protest the house arrest, lockdown, Stunning and Brave. And as a reward for standing up for everyone's constitutional rights, they were called every name in the book, including a few more that they made up to include the new definition of racist.
Let me say this, black people cannot be racist.
If you don't stay home and take our tyranny with a smile, you want to kill Grandma!
Mighty ironic coming from people who still support these Democratic governors. Governors who flat out murdered thousands of grandparents across the country. I know what you guys are saying.
Pop, you're making all that up. It's not true.
Well, I'm gonna prove it to you. Did you know that 45% of the deaths from the unspecified illness of unknown origin, they're from nursing homes? And it was public knowledge from the very beginning that the elderly were at the highest risk. But according to the CDC, 80% of cases are either very mild or asymptomatic. That doesn't really help a political party with a vested interest in destroying an economy during an election year. So they decided, well, those are some rookie numbers. We gotta bump those numbers up. Democratic governors in New York, Michigan, New Jersey, and California, that's just a few, forced nursing homes to accept patients who were sick with Of course, now those stunning and brave lefties are claiming they didn't know that was gonna happen. But they did know, and we can prove it. On March 8th, the CDC put out the following statement.
Nursing homes and other long-term care facilities are ground zero for...
See, I told you it sounds like you have a dick in your mouth, bro.
Substantial morbidity and mortality might be averted if all long-term care facilities take steps now to prevent exposure of their residents to...
But 7 days later, Cuomo in New York did the following.
No resident shall be denied readmission or admission to nursing homes solely based on a confirmed or suspected diagnosis of...
And if that wasn't bad enough, Governor Schittler said, hey, hold my beer.
When confronted with the fact that her actions murdered hundreds of people, she admitted there were flaws in her plan. Wow, so stunning and brave. I would never have expected that out of this dude. But just 2 weeks later, Schittler claimed that the whole thing never happened. Think about it. These public servants were willing to sacrifice your grandparents just so they could feed their own sadistic thirst for power and maybe, just maybe, help a geriatric demented kid diddler into the White House. You really think they care about you? I'm just asking for a friend.
Bottom line, any governor who participated in this genocide needs to be forced out of office, convicted of first-degree murder, and sent to prison. The actions of these people is nothing but pure evil. And it was done solely to pump up the death rate, cause fear, and to justify government tyranny.
The best part is these serial killers honestly think they're going to be able to blame all of this on Trump. And yes, not only are they that stupid, they think you're that stupid.
But I suppose this is all you lefties have left in the chamber at this point. You have no policies, no platform, and a shitty candidate. You have no ideas of any kind other than racist, sexist, and orange man bad. Do you really think you're gonna take back the White House with that kind of bullshit, especially with this guy talking?
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Remember, if you're a Democrat, you're hiding with Biden. See you in November.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Do you really think you're gonna get votes from a country full of people that you flat out betrayed? I gotta ask all of the healthcare workers out there, how does it feel?
How does it feel going from, OMG, you're so stunning and brave, heroes work here too, here's your pink slip and severance check, pack your shit and get out? Oh no, how sad, please don't go. How will I ever survive without your TikTok videos?
Now left foot, right foot, now left foot, right foot.
How did it feel when you took a stance against those horribly racist and misogynistic lockdown protesters because they're anti-science and they want to kill grandma? Weh? Right before you dropped trow and crapped all over your credibility by standing with burning, looting murderers. Everyone remember this lovely bit of cognitive disconnect?
As public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings as risky for transmission. This should not be confused with a permissive stance on all gatherings, particularly protests against stay-home orders.
And the big finish. After betraying public trust in such a monumental way just so you could toe that party line, how does it feel to know that you're a racist anyway?
I would say that I feel bad for you, but let's face it, I really don't. You thought by appeasing the outrage mob that they would never come for you. Silly rabbits! Now that we're done talking about unspecified illness of unknown origins, because I'm not going to use that acronym again, we need to talk about the fallout of an untimely death of a unnamed convicted felon. But before we go there, I'm going to fill up my shot glass and ask you to go to redonkulas.com/donate and send us a couple bucks. Because exposing myself to stupidity of this magnitude comes with its own health risks.
Chad Swagger is who Bad Pop would be if he hadn't joined the army. A typical American male who enjoys getting drunk on the weekends with ambitions to become a beer baron and a lousy lover to platinum blonde Icelandic bombshells. Half as charming as he thinks he is and twice as desperate, The Bro Next Door is free on Amazon Kindle, but it's an extra $10 if you want a kiss on the mouth. A link is in the description.
Now, let's fast forward to a few months later. The same people who murdered our elderly population in cold blood, they expect you to believe that they actually care about Black lives. Win.
The end. No, seriously, if you're on YouTube, that's the end. But where's the rest of the episode? Where? Well, the truth is, YouTube has given more dudes the boot than your average Tinderella rejecting their matches on dating apps. And since the entire latter half of this episode completely dismantles the entire ideology behind BLM, Popp made the executive decision. I would have said fuck it. But Since our last community guideline strike doesn't disappear until August 9th, in the meantime, it would suck if we posted this video and got the entire channel taken down, especially when most of you jokers are still too lazy to sign up for alt tech. But, just in case you didn't get the memo, not only are the episodes there uncut, some of them even have boobies and landing strips and such. Yeah! So I will pin a comment with all of those links down below. This is Toxic Male for Terrence Popp, and I apologize for nothing.
Like I like my women?
Yeah!
Nice and cheap.
Cheap!
I'm sorry. I like slutty women. And my grandfather was like, and he's just like, looks at my aunt and he goes, well, at least he has a preference.
He stuck his hand down his own pants and fondled his balls, and then stuck his fingers in the dude's face and asked him if he liked balls or pussy. And this was seen by multiple people, including the guy who owns the bar.
Dude, I'd beat your ass for that shit.